I found the receipt on a Tuesday, not hidden in a pocket or stuffed in a wallet, just sitting there on our kitchen counter between the coffee maker and the fruit bowl, like it had every right to exist in my world. Grand Rosewood Hotel, room 412, 2 nights, $847.63. My name is David Chen, and 3 weeks ago I thought I knew exactly who my wife was. Spoiler alert, I didn't know anything. Rebecca and I met in college. I was studying computer science. She was pre-law. We were that couple everyone envied, the power couple with big dreams. We got married at 27, bought a house in Austin suburbs at 29, had our son Jake at 31. 14 years of marriage, 14 years of inside jokes and weekend hikes and building a life together, and apparently 14 years of lies. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The receipt was dated 3 weeks ago, a Thursday and Friday. Rebecca had told me she was at a legal conference in Dallas. She'd even sent me photos from the hotel lobby, a generic convention center with corporate banners. Not the Grand Rosewood. The Grand Rosewood was here, in Austin, 15 minutes from our house. I stood in my kitchen holding that receipt, and something inside me went cold. Not angry yet, just ice-cold realization spreading through my veins. My hands were steady as I pulled out my phone and Googled the hotel. 5 stars. Luxury suites with jacuzzi tubs and city views. The kind of place Rebecca and I had always said was too expensive for just sleeping. Except Rebecca had been there, without me. I checked our credit card statements, nothing. Which meant she'd used cash or another card, one I didn't know about. I checked her location history on our shared family plan. Dallas. She'd definitely been showing as Dallas those 2 days. That's when I knew. This wasn't a mistake or a mix-up. This was planned, deliberate. My wife, who could barely figure out how to update her iPhone, had learned how to fake her GPS location. People don't learn that skill for innocent reasons. I sat down at our kitchen table, the receipt still in my hand, and started thinking, really thinking, about the late nights at the law firm, the weekend depositions, the new clothes she'd bought 6 months ago, the way she'd started going to yoga classes 3 times a week. I'd thought she was finally prioritizing self-care. Turns out it was just regular care for someone else. My phone buzzed. Rebecca, hey babe, working late on the Henderson case. Don't wait up. Love you. I stared at the text. Was she really at the firm, or was she at the Grand Rosewood, room 412, with someone else? I called her office. The receptionist said she'd left at 5 p.m. It was 8 p.m. now. I didn't confront her that night, or the next night, or the night after that. Instead, I did something I never thought I'd do. I became a spy in my own marriage. I started tracking everything, her hours, her receipts, her patterns. I checked the mileage on her car. I looked through her laptop when she was in the shower. I even created a fake LinkedIn profile to search for her. She was careful, but everyone slips eventually. The slip came 2 weeks after I found the receipt. Rebecca said she had to work through the weekend, a major case going to trial. She kissed Jake goodnight, kissed me goodbye, and left Saturday morning with her work bag and laptop. At 2 p.m., I drove past her law firm. Her car wasn't there. At 2:30 p.m., I drove to the Grand Rosewood, and there it was, her white BMW parked in the guest lot like it belonged there. I sat in my truck for 30 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. Part of me wanted to march inside, but a bigger part of me needed to know everything before I acted. I needed to know who he was. I went home, made dinner for Jake, helped him with homework, and after he went to bed, I opened Rebecca's laptop. I knew her password. It was Jake's birthday. Had been for years. It didn't work. She'd changed it. That hurt. It was such a small thing, but it meant she was actively hiding something. Actively locking me out. I tried a few variations. Nothing. Then I remembered something from my IT days. Most people use the same password patterns. I tried her email password with one number changed. It worked. And that's when I found them. The text messages synced to her laptop. Hundreds of messages in a thread with someone named Marcus Jim. Thursday, can't come fast enough. Room 412, like always. M. Still thinking about Saturday. You make me feel alive again. I know this is complicated, but you're worth it. M. Marcus. I scrolled through 6 months of messages. They'd been seeing each other since April. 6 months of Thursday nights at the Grand Rosewood. 6 months of weekend work emergencies and yoga classes. The messages were detailed, intimate. They talked about their future together, about leaving their spouses, about starting fresh. She wanted to leave me. There were photos too. Nothing explicit, just selfies. Him at the gym, muscles and confidence. Her laughing, looking happier than I'd seen her in years. Marcus was younger than me, maybe 35. Uh, Personal trainer, according to his Instagram profile that I found through a phone number in the messages. Divorced, no kids. He worked at the gym. Rebecca joined 6 months ago. Of course he did. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there, feeling like my entire life had been revealed as a lie. Jake knocked on the door. Dad? Why aren't you in bed? I wiped my face. When had I started crying? Just working, buddy. Go back to sleep. He hesitated. You okay? I'm fine, son. Just tired. He hugged me, and I held him tight, thinking about how divorce was going to destroy him. The next morning, Rebecca came home at 9 a.m., looking refreshed. She kissed my cheek. Sorry, worked straight through. I'm exhausted. I smiled. Coffee? You're the best. We sat at the kitchen table, drinking coffee, talking about Jake's soccer game that afternoon. She told me about her case. I told her about a work project. We were so good at this, at pretending. I wondered if she'd showered before coming home, if she smelled like him. Hey, she said suddenly. I've been thinking we should take a vacation, just the two of us. Your mom could watch Jake for a long weekend. I looked at her. Really? Yeah. We haven't done anything just us in forever. Maybe the coast? That beach house rental you've always wanted to try? She looked so sincere, so loving. I wanted to flip the table. Instead, I smiled. That sounds great, because I'd already made a decision. I wasn't going to confront her yet. First, I was going to find out everything, how deep this went. Whether she was planning to leave, who knew about the affair, and then I was going to make sure she didn't get to walk away unscathed. Over the next week, I became someone I didn't recognize. I hired a private investigator, paid cash so it wouldn't show up on our accounts. I opened a separate bank account and started moving money. Small amounts, nothing she'd notice. I also called a lawyer, explained the situation. Texas is a community property state, the lawyer explained. But adultery can affect the division of assets, especially if marital funds were used for the affair. They were, I said. Hotels, dinners, gifts. Document everything. And David? He paused. I'm sorry, man. This sucks. I wasn't sorry. I was furious. And fury was so much more useful than pain. The private investigator was a guy named Ray, former cop who specialized in infidelity cases. I've seen worse, he told me, but your wife isn't being particularly careful. He showed me photos. Rebecca and Marcus leaving the hotel together. Rebecca and Marcus at a wine bar. Rebecca and Marcus at a park, kissing like teenagers. There's more, Ray said. She's been meeting with a divorce attorney, filed preliminary paperwork last week. The floor dropped out from under me. What? She's planning to leave you, probably waiting for the right time to tell you. All those conversations about our future, about retirement and Jake's college fund. She'd been planning her exit the entire time. There's something else, Ray said carefully. The guy Marcus, he doesn't know she's married. I stared at him. What? Did some digging. Talked to one of his buddies at the gym. Marcus thinks Rebecca is divorced. She told him her marriage ended a year ago, that she shares custody of her son. I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It was so absurd, so perfectly insane. David? Ray looked concerned. She told him we're divorced, I managed. She told her boyfriend that we're divorced. Yeah. So he has no idea she goes home to her husband every night, no idea she's still sleeping in our bed, sitting at our table, tucking our son into bed. No idea at all. I stopped laughing. I need to meet him. David, that's not... I need to meet him, I repeated. Can you arrange it? Ray studied me for a long moment. Then he nodded. I'll see what I can do. 3 days later, I walked into a gym downtown. Marcus was at the front desk checking in a client. I waited until he was alone, then approached. Marcus, my name is David. I was hoping we could talk about Rebecca Chen. His friendly smile froze. I'm sorry, do I know you? No, but you know my wife. All the color drained from his face. You're... what? My wife, Rebecca. We've been married for 14 years. That's not possible, but his voice shook. Rebecca is divorced. She's really not. I pulled out my phone, showed him photos, our wedding, Jake's birth, our family vacation last summer to Colorado, all time-stamped, all recent. Marcus stared at the photos, his hands clenched into fists. This can't be real. It's very real. Did she tell you she has shared custody of her son? Yes. His jaw was tight. She said her ex is difficult, that they barely speak. We speak every day. We sleep in the same bed. We had sex 2 nights ago. Marcus looked like he might throw up. Jesus Christ. I should have felt triumphant. But sitting across from this guy who was also a victim, I just felt tired. How long? He whispered. 14 years married. But you? About 6 months. 6 months. Marcus ran his hand through his hair. Oh my God, I'm the other man. I'm that guy. You didn't know. I should have known. The way she was always busy on weekends, the way she'd never stay over, I thought it was because of her kid, because of custody. He looked at me with devastated eyes. Man, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, I said, and I meant it. Rebecca had lied to both of us. What are you going to do? Marcus asked. Divorce her. Fight for custody of my son. Make sure she doesn't get to pretend she's the victim. Marcus nodded slowly. I can help you. What? I have texts, photos she sent me. She used a credit card once to book us a hotel in San Antonio. I bet you don't know about that card. No, I can give you everything. I studied him. Why would you do that? Because she made me the guy who breaks up families. Because I was falling in love with her. Because his voice broke. Because I was about to propose next month. I had a ring picked out and everything. We sat in that gym for an hour. Two men who loved the same woman, realizing we'd both been loving a lie. By the time I left, we had a plan. The confrontation happened on a Thursday. Of course it did. Thursday was their night. Rebecca came home at 5 p.m., kissed Jake, kissed me. Hey babe, I have to work late tonight. The Henderson case is heating up. Okay, I said. What time will you be home? Probably not until morning. I'll stay at the office so I don't wake you. Sure thing. She went upstairs to shower and change into comfortable work clothes, yoga pants, and a nice top. I waited until I heard the water running, then I made a phone call. Ray, it's time. Rebecca left at 6 p.m. I gave her 30 minutes, then Jake and I got in the car. Where are we going, Dad? To surprise Mom at work. I thought we could bring her dinner. Jake bounced in his seat. Cool. Can we get pizza? We arrived at the Grand Rosewood at 7 p.m. I'd already confirmed with Ray that Rebecca and Marcus had checked in at 6:30. I left Jake with Ray in the lobby. I'd told him Ray was an old friend, and we were playing a surprise game for Mom. Then I went to room 412. I had a key. Ray's connections had gotten me a duplicate. I stood outside that door for a full minute, listening to my heart pound in my ears. Then I slid the key card and pushed the door open. Rebecca was pouring wine at the minibar. Marcus was on the bed, laughing at something she'd said. They both turned when they heard the door. Rebecca's face went white. David. Hi, honey. I stepped inside, letting the door close behind me. Working late, huh? This is a weird-looking law office. Marcus stood up. He looked at Rebecca with something like horror. You said you told him. You promised you were telling him this week. Tell me what? I asked, though I knew. Ray had warned me. Rebecca was planning to ask for a divorce. She'd been working up the courage. The preliminary paperwork, the plans, she was getting ready to leave me. David, I can explain, Rebecca started. No need, Marcus and I already talked. Last week, actually. Had coffee. It was enlightening. Rebecca looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at me. He knows about the lies, Marcus said quietly. All of them. You told him? Rebecca's voice rose. Because you weren't going to. Marcus shot back. Because you've been lying to both of us. I watched my wife realize her entire carefully constructed double life was collapsing. It was satisfying. How long have you known? Rebecca asked me. 3 weeks, since I found the first receipt. 3 weeks. She sat down heavily on the bed. You've known for 3 weeks and didn't say anything? I needed to understand the situation completely before I acted. That's what you do in tech, right? When there's a bug, you gather all the data first? Rebecca closed her eyes. David, I'm sorry. Are you? Sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught? Both. I never meant for this to happen. I started laughing. You never meant for it to happen. Rebecca, you've been sleeping with another man for 6 months. You've been filing for divorce behind my back. You've been using secret credit cards. What part of that was accidental? I fell in love, she said weakly. No, you fell in lust. There's a difference. Marcus cleared his throat. I'm going to leave you two to talk. Stay, I said. You're part of this too, and you should hear what happens next. He hesitated, then stayed standing by the window. I looked at my wife, this woman I'd loved for almost 20 years, this woman I'd built a life with. I've already filed for divorce, I said. Beat you to it by 3 days. Her eyes widened. You what? I filed on Monday. You'll be served tomorrow at work. Thought you'd appreciate the public humiliation, since you didn't seem to mind humiliating me for 6 months. David, please. I'm seeking primary custody of Jake, I continued. I have evidence of your affair. I have proof you used marital assets to fund it. I have testimony from Marcus about your lies. Marcus shifted uncomfortably but didn't contradict me. You can't take Jake from me, Rebecca whispered. I'm not taking him. I'm protecting him from a mother who thinks lying is acceptable. I'm in the set from a mother who was willing to blow up his family for a guy she met at a gym. That's not fair. Fair? My voice rose. You want to talk about fair? Was it fair to Jake to plan leaving his family? Was it fair to me to let me believe we were happy while you were planning your exit? Was it fair to Marcus to make him fall in love with a fiction? Marcus winced at that. Rebecca was crying now. I made a mistake. No. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is snapping at someone when you're tired. What you did was a choice. Hundreds of choices every single day for 6 months. What do you want from me? She asked. Nothing. I don't want anything from you anymore. I want you out of my house by this weekend. I want you to sign over your half of Jake's college fund. Consider it payment for your lies, and I want you to leave us alone. You can't kick me out of my own house. It's my house. Check the deed. My parents helped with the down payment, remember? It's in my name only. So yes, I can kick you out. I'd checked with my lawyer. It was legal. Rebecca looked at Marcus. Say something. Marcus shook his head. I don't even know who you are. That's the thing, I said. Neither of us do. The woman we thought we knew doesn't exist. I turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, and Rebecca, I told your boss about the affair. Turns out using company time and resources for personal business is against firm policy. You're probably going to be fired. Her face went pale. You didn't. I did. Fair's fair, right? You destroy my life, I destroy yours. It was a lie. I hadn't told her boss, but I wanted her to spend the night terrified, wondering if I had. Let her feel what I'd felt for 3 weeks. I walked out of that hotel room, rode the elevator down, and collected my son from Ray. Did you surprise Mom? Jake asked. Yeah, buddy, I sure did. The next 2 months were hell. Rebecca fought the divorce, fought custody, hired the most aggressive lawyer she could find, probably why she'd been meeting with divorce attorneys before I found out, getting her ducks in a row. But I had evidence, photos, texts, hotel records, credit card statements. I had Marcus's testimony. I had her preliminary divorce filing that proved she'd been planning to leave. The judge was not impressed with Rebecca. In the end, I got primary custody of Jake. Rebecca got him every other weekend and 1 night a week. She got to keep her car and her personal belongings. I got the house, the majority of our savings, and Jake's college fund. She also had to pay me alimony for 3 years, since I was planning to reduce my hours to be more available for Jake. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Rebecca did lose her job, not because I told anyone, but because word got around the firm anyway. Small town legal community in Austin. Everyone knows everyone. She moved in with her sister, started over at a smaller firm with a pay cut. Marcus? I ran into him at the grocery store about 3 months after everything exploded. We had an awkward conversation in the produce section. How are you doing? He asked. Better. You? Same. Started dating someone new, someone honest this time. He paused. I'm sorry, man, for my part in it. You didn't know. Still, I'm sorry. We shook hands and went our separate ways. As for me and Jake, we're figuring it out. He knows his mom messed up, though I've tried not to poison him against her. That's his mother, and he loves her. I won't take that away from him, but he lives with me. He sees her every other weekend, and slowly we're building a new normal. I'm dating again, too. Taking it slow, not rushing into anything. I've learned that you can't really know someone, no matter how long you've been with them. People are capable of incredible deception when they want something badly enough. But I've also learned that I'm stronger than I thought, that I can survive betrayal, that I can be a good father on my own, that I don't need someone who doesn't choose me. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I sold the house. Too many memories, too many ghosts. Jake and I moved into a smaller place closer to his school. One night, he asked me the question I'd been dreading. Dad, do you still love Mom? I thought about it carefully. I love who I thought she was, but that person doesn't exist. So no, buddy, I don't love her anymore. Do you think she ever loved us? That one hurt. I think she did, but sometimes love isn't enough when people want different things. I'm glad I'm with you, Jake said quietly. I pulled him into a hug. Me too, son. Me too. A year after everything exploded, I got a text from an unknown number. David, this is Rebecca. I know I have no right to contact you, but I need to say something. You were right about everything. I was selfish. I was cruel. I destroyed our family for a fantasy that wasn't even real. Marcus and I didn't last a month after you found out. Turned out we had nothing in common except lies. I'm in therapy now, trying to understand why I did what I did. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that you deserved better. Jake deserves better. I'm sorry I couldn't be that for you. I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to respond with anger, with a detailed list of everything she destroyed. Instead, I wrote, I hope you find peace, Rebecca, for Jake's sake, if nothing else. Then I blocked the number. Not out of cruelty, out of self-preservation. Rebecca was part of my past, a chapter that taught me essential lessons about trust and self-worth. But it was a chapter I'd closed. My future was unwritten, smaller and quieter than the life I'd planned with Rebecca. But it was mine, authentic, real. And that was worth more than all the perfect marriages and Instagram posts in the world. 2 years later, I met someone. Her name is Sarah. She's a teacher, and she's been through her own divorce. We understand each other in a way only people who've been betrayed can. We take it slow. We're honest. We don't play games. Jake likes her. That matters most. On what would have been my 17th wedding anniversary with Rebecca, Sarah asked me if I was okay. Yeah, I said, and I meant it. I'm really okay. Because I'd learned something crucial through all of this. Sometimes the only way to build something real is to let the beautiful lies burn down completely. I'm Jake's dad. I'm Sarah's partner. I'm a good friend, a decent person, a man who learned that his worth isn't determined by someone else's ability to see it. And honestly, that's more than enough. 3 years after the divorce, I ran into Rebecca at Jake's middle school graduation. We were polite, cordial, like strangers who once knew each other. She looked different. Older, more tired. She was alone, no boyfriend, no Marcus, just her. He looks happy, she said, watching Jake laugh with his friends. He is. You did a good job with him. We did, I corrected. He's still your son, too. She smiled sadly. You're being generous. I'm being honest. After the ceremony, Jake wanted a photo with both of us. We stood on either side of him, smiling for the camera, looking like a normal divorced couple, co-parenting successfully, and we were. We'd gotten there. It took 3 years, but we'd gotten to a place where we could be in the same room without destroying each other. That night, Sarah asked me if seeing Rebecca was hard. No, I said. It was just nothing. I felt nothing. Is that a good thing? Yeah. It means I'm finally free. She kissed me. Good. I think about that night at the Grand Rosewood sometimes. The look on Rebecca's face when I walked through the door. The way her perfect double life crumbled in seconds. I don't regret what I did. The investigation, the confrontation, the divorce, all of it was necessary because I deserved better than lies. Jake deserved better than a broken family held together by deception. And somewhere in the wreckage of my marriage, I found something I'd lost. Myself. The man I was before I started measuring my worth by whether Rebecca chose me. The man who knew his own value independent of anyone else's opinion. That man was worth fighting for. And in the end, that's the only fight that ever really mattered.